The waiting room fell silent the moment she walked in. In her arms lay a tiny puppy, trembling and weak, but what froze everyone was its fur. Deep purple, shimmering under the clinic lights, as if painted by human hands. Whispers spread. Was it a rare breed, a strange genetic mutation, or something more sinister? The vet approached, his eyes narrowing as he leaned closer. Seconds later, his expression darkened. This wasn't a miracle of nature, it was a disguise. And what he uncovered beneath the strange purple coat would leave the entire room stunned, exposing a heartbreaking truth that no one was prepared to hear. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The clinic doors swung open, and a hush fell over the waiting room. In her arms, a woman carried a small cardboard box lined with an old blanket. Inside, curled up and trembling, was a puppy unlike anything anyone had ever seen. Its fur shimmered in shades of violet, a deep, unnatural purple that drew every eye in the room. Murmurs spread like wildfire. Some people gasped, others whispered in disbelief. A child tugged at his mother's sleeve, asking if it was a magical dog. The receptionist froze mid-sentence, her pen hovering above her notepad. Even the air seemed heavier as the woman walked forward, her steps unsteady, as though she knew what she carried was no ordinary pet. Fear mingled with curiosity all around. Then the vet appeared, wiping his hands on a towel. His gaze fell on the box, and his expression shifted instantly. Confusion, shock, and then urgency. He didn't wait for explanations. "Bring it here, quickly," he said, his voice sharp but trembling. The woman obeyed, her arms shaking as she handed over the fragile creature. The puppy whimpered faintly, its golden eyes dull and heavy, as if crying for help no one could yet understand. The vet placed the purple puppy gently on the examination table. Under the bright fluorescent light, the odd color of its fur looked even more unnatural, almost painted on. The puppy's body was frail, ribs faintly visible beneath its coat, and its tiny frame trembled with every shallow breath. The woman clutched her hands together, her voice quivering as she explained she had found the animal abandoned in a box near a roadside ditch. The staff exchanged uneasy glances. One nurse whispered, "Is this some kind of new breed?" Another shook her head, eyes fixed on the puppy's unsteady legs. Its eyes told a different story, sunken, tired, yet pleading for kindness. The woman continued, "I couldn't just leave him there. He looked so lost, so helpless. But when I tried to wash him, the purple didn't come off." Her words made the room grow colder. The vet leaned closer, inspecting the fur, running his gloved fingers through the strange coloration. His jaw tightened, and his brow furrowed deeply. This was no natural shade, nor was it a harmless accident. "This isn't right," he murmured, more to himself than anyone else. Suspicion clouded his face. The question now lingered heavy in the air. Was this cruelty, or something even more sinister? The vet adjusted his gloves, his eyes narrowing as he prepared for a closer look. He gently lifted the puppy, whose tiny whimper echoed through the quiet room. A stethoscope pressed against its chest revealed a faint, irregular heartbeat. The vet frowned, noting the weakness. He carefully parted the fur, and beneath the deep violet shade, he noticed patches of irritated skin. The purple wasn't uniform. Streaks of darker stains clung stubbornly to the puppy's fragile coat. The woman watched anxiously, her breath quickening. "Is he going to be okay?" she whispered. The vet didn't answer immediately. Instead, he grabbed a small cloth, dipped it in solution, and rubbed gently at the fur. Slowly, streaks of violet smeared away, revealing tender, raw patches beneath. Gasps filled the room. It was clear now. This color was no natural gift. It was hiding something far more disturbing beneath the surface. He moved methodically, running gentle tests, checking reflexes, inspecting paws, and shining a small light into the puppy's eyes. Each detail painted a clearer picture of neglect. Bruises under the fur, unusual marks on the skin, and a body far too light for its age. The puppy squirmed weakly, but its soft whimpers spoke louder than words. The vet's jaw tightened as a grim realization began to form. Whatever had been done to this puppy wasn't an accident, it was deliberate. The vet set down his instruments, his face pale. He had seen cruelty before, but this case carried a disturbing weight. Underneath, the skin was raw, inflamed, and scarred in places. This dye? It was used to cover up injuries, he muttered grimly. The room grew still, everyone frozen by the gravity of his words. The puppy's whimper broke the silence like a fragile plea for justice. The woman clasped her hands over her mouth, tears springing to her eyes. You mean, someone did this on purpose? Her voice cracked under the weight of disbelief. The vet nodded solemnly, anger tightening his features. Yes, this poor thing wasn't just abandoned. He was disguised. Whoever did this wanted to hide the truth, to make him appear healthy, maybe even valuable. But underneath, he's been neglected, starved, and left in pain. His words felt like heavy stones dropping one by one. The staff exchanged horrified glances, while the woman shook her head, overwhelmed. She reached out to stroke the trembling puppy, whispering softly, "You didn't deserve this." The tiny dog pressed its paw weakly against her hand, as though clinging to the first kindness it had ever known. The vet's voice lowered, heavy with determination. "We'll uncover the full extent of this. But make no mistake, this isn't just an injured puppy. This is evidence of cruelty, and maybe even something darker." The vet gathered his notes, his voice steady but heavy with the weight of truth. "This puppy is a victim of something bigger than neglect," he explained. "He was part of an illegal breeding operation. They used dye to disguise sores and infections, making sick animals look unique or exotic to unsuspecting buyers." The room filled with gasps. What had seemed like a strange curiosity was now exposed as calculated cruelty. The woman wiped at her tears, anger flickering in her eyes. "So, someone hurt him, just to make money?" she asked softly. The vet nodded, his expression grim. "Yes, and he's not the only one. If this pup was abandoned, it's because he was too weak to sell. Others may still be suffering." His words landed like a hammer, leaving an ache of helplessness and outrage in the room. But as the puppy shivered, the woman pulled him closer, her voice firm now. "Not anymore. He's mine. I'll take him home, care for him, and give him the love he deserves." The vet studied her for a moment, then smiled faintly. "He's lucky to have found you." For the first time that day, hope entered the room, a fragile light in the middle of darkness. In the days that followed, the puppy began his journey of healing. The dye was washed away, revealing not just wounds but a coat that slowly regained its natural softness. With proper food and gentle care, his ribs became less pronounced, his eyes brighter. Each wag of his tiny tail was a victory, each step a promise that his spirit was stronger than the cruelty he had endured. The woman kept her word, never leaving his side. She built routines of comfort, soft blankets, warm meals, and soothing words whispered as he drifted to sleep. Slowly, the puppy stopped trembling at every sound. He followed her from room to room, trusting her completely. What had once been the saddest sight in the clinic was now a symbol of resilience and love. Word of the purple puppy spread through the town. People were shocked by the cruelty but inspired by the outcome. Neighbors stopped by to meet him, and children pointed with wide eyes at the once-dyed fur that now shone naturally. The woman held him proudly, her voice steady. "He's not broken, he's brave." And as the puppy pressed close to her chest, the message was clear. Sometimes the greatest stories of survival come from the smallest, most fragile souls.